that are combined with sand and toxic pollutants and emissions that whack the South Korean capital annually. Shares of companies expected to benefit from the storm, such as air filter makers and eye drop manufacturers, have surged on the South Korean stock market. Forecasters say that the annual dust storms will be particularly bad this year because northern China and the deserts of Mongolia, where the storms originate, suffered the worst drought in 50 years. Temperatures there are also hotter than normal, adding momentum to the dust storms, which usually strike South Korea and Japan between early March and early May and cause health problems. According to a electronics retailer, Highmart, the sales of air purifiers have gone up 30% since the forecast of the yellow dust storms on February 20th. Sales of air purifiers are expected to rise further as electronics makers are introducing new models late this month to meet growing demand. The yellow dust is fine sand from northern China and Mongolia's Gobi Desert. It sometimes, of course, includes industrial pollutants picked up by the yellow dust as it passes over Chinese factories. All of this toxic mess can cause severe respiratory distress. In Kampala, Uganda this morning, 6 workers have been killed. Note the people on top of the building in the background from the roof looking down at the pit. A number of others are still thought to be trapped after a building under construction collapsed in the center of the Ugandan capital. 6 other workers were taken to the hospital with severe injuries. A worker said the accident occurred when a wall under construction fell down. Ugandan civil engineers have complained about construction companies not following safety and labor regulations. Police in Sweden, of all places, are investigating links between a group called Global Intifada, an extreme left-wing anti-U.S. group, and a series of fires in supermarkets in a town south of the Swedish capital of Stockholm. Here is a supermarket that burned to the ground last night. Local police in the town is pronounced, well, it may not be pronounced this way, but I'll give it a try, Södertälje, Södertälje, south of the capital. A local police spokesman said that 4 fires were set ablaze in the early morning hours today. Police suspect that time bombs were used. Leaflets are being distributed in the town by a group claiming that it's called Global Intifada and that they're testing fire bombs that they say will actually be connected to timers. And they're going to be targeting food stores because the food stores sell U.S.-produced products, hence the destruction of the supermarkets last night. The American embassy in Stockholm has issued a warning about possible threats to American interests. A little update on the Turkish airplane crash. The crash killed 9 people, of course, and injured 80 others in Holland. Of the 9 people killed, actually, 4 of them were Boeing aircraft engineers who were coming from Istanbul heading back to Washington State. The airline has defended its maintenance records and said that a technical problem with the 737 in the days leading up to the accident should not be viewed as a crash. A spokesman, actually, he's the head of the Dutch agency investigating the crash, and Mr. Peter Vollenhoven, incredibly said this. He said the plane had fallen almost directly out of the sky, which suggested its engines could have stalled. But then a spokesperson quickly said that engine failure was still only, quote, one of the possible scenarios for the crash. Mr. Vollenhoven said that an analysis of the plane's flight data recorders, which is being done in Paris, could be completed as early as today, but a preliminary finding would probably not be released until next week. The airline said that the plane had undergone routine maintenance on the 19th of February and that it delayed a flight 4 days later to replace a faulty caution light, but they said that that fault should not be seen as a potential cause of the crash. Survivors from the crash said the engine noise stopped and the plane shuddered and then fell out of the sky tail first. Well, this is something you don't want to be doing if you're running late for a plane. A little background first. This is a story from the Miami Herald. This individual is named Mark Rimkowski. He's 49 years old. He used to live on Fisher Island, which, if you've ever been to Miami, is a very, very exclusive enclave located about 900 yards offshore. You can only reach it by a ferry. The cheapest condominiums on the island are approximately $500,000, and you can spend well up into the $20 million if you want. Here's what happened according to the Miami Herald. On Wednesday night, this fellow, Rimkowski, was rushing to Miami International Airport to catch American Airlines Flight 299 bound for Los Angeles. However, the gate had already been closed and the plane was being towed back. He flashed a badge, which he claimed this is actually the correct badge for the you can take this down, we'll come back to this. He flashed a badge saying that he was the Fisher Island police chief to employees at the ticket counter, and he announced he was an air marshal. Employees then dutifully stopped the plane, had a taxi back into the gate. He then boarded the plane. However, from Mr. Rimkowski's bad luck, on the plane were actual air marshals. They inspected his badge and kicked him off the plane. They did not arrest him. They did not detain him. The plane went on its way. Rimkowski, obviously a bit of a brain surgeon, then proceeded to the American Airlines Admirals Club bar. He began to imbibe in alcohol, loudly complaining the whole time about not being allowed on the flight. He was not out at an airport bar. He was in the bar owned by American Airlines that's access provided to their Admiral Club members. The police came. They arrested Rimkowski. When he was arrested, it was found that he was actually carrying $14,000 in cash, and he had plans to travel to Los Angeles, Hawaii, and Dubai. He was arrested for impersonating a federal air marshal. Here is, just for your edification, a picture of the air marshal badge. We'll bring this up again. I was unable to find a picture of the Fisher Island Police Department badge because Fisher Island does not have a police department. Of course, you don't want to try this if you're late for a plane. You could end up being arrested. Stock market is down about 63 points now. If we have any other breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. If not, we will see you on Monday, which will be the first business day of the month of March. Thank you for watching.